Hi, my name is Sammi, and I am the author of Trauma, a PTSD blog for HealthyPlace. Today, I wanted to talk about emotional flashbacks in PTSD, as I feel like this is a very important topic. The CPTSD Foundation has defined emotional flashbacks as the triggering of emotions instead of the five senses. So, when I was first diagnosed with PTSD, I kind of resisted that diagnosis because I wasn't having actual mental flashbacks of my sexual assault, which occurred in childhood. I wasn't having instances where I felt like I was brought back into that moment when I endured my assault. However, I did have intense emotional responses to certain triggers that correlated to how I felt when I was assaulted. So intense shame, intense guilt, intense fear. And a lot of those emotions would get triggered by dating, being in a relationship, intimacy, things that were kind of related to the assault itself. And I never really understood why that happened and why it was so difficult for me to build lasting romantic relationships, especially. But when my therapist spoke about emotional flashbacks, something clicked in me, and it really validated the diagnosis, which is when I was able to actually get the proper treatment. So during emotional flashbacks, I, for instance, often go into the survival mode, and I start almost feeling like I'm reverting back to my childhood self, the little girl who was in that situation. And something that I've been able to do in therapy is kind of identify when I'm triggered and when I'm brought back into that state, and be really easy and compassionate with myself, because you have to think of it as you're a little child who's going through something really intense, and your brain can't tell the difference between, the present, what's happening in that moment, versus like how you felt when you were enduring that trauma that gave you the PTSD. So practice grounding techniques to bring you back to your present moment, your present body. Remind yourself that you're safe and understand that this isn't your fault. Shame is one of my biggest emotions, something I still battle every day, but through therapy and just in my everyday life of surrounding myself with good people who ensure that I'm not consistently shaming myself for every little thing, that has helped me so much, and it really helps kind of bring me out of that emotional flashback, especially if I'm really anxious or ruminating, which happens a lot for me. If I can take the shame out of it and then kind of work through to the core of the issue, I'm much better off. I'm in a much better place for healing. So I hope this video was helpful, insightful, and maybe validating for you. And if you can relate to any of this or you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment in the section below.